now?
Now we can
Hello?
hear. Now we can hear you.
Wait. Right. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
But you guys are not audible. I
Ma-
don't know what's happening.
Ma'am, maybe you need to increase the volume of your maybe mobile or laptop, whatever you're using.
Okay. I think I should try it another way. Sorry for
that's okay. I think before you logged in, that
now.
was
Now I
working.
can hear.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
now I can hear. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
So I can hear Ria. So that means everybody can also hear me.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, ma'am. We welcome you to Team Mavin Magic.
Thank you so much. And this is such a lovely moment, on a Tuesday morning, starting my day and almost the start of the week with such lovely people, positive thinking people. Thank you so much for having me here. So I wish to start, by introducing myself. I'm Amrita and I reside in Delhi. And this is my first interaction on Marvin. Everybody knows that probably. And no doubt, I'm a little excited and I'm slightly nervous also. So I look forward to all of you all's support and so give me all the positive vibes and all the positive energy. So let's make this session a very enjoyable one for all of us. A little more on myself. I have been an HR professional almost all my life, all my working life. That is about 30 years of corporate world. And then suddenly the COVID pandemic, abruptly cut short my work life, and I found myself without any occupation of the mind and with so much spare time on my hand. And, suddenly I found that my phone is suddenly silent and there are no calls. And all the emails which I used to get, flux of emails, was reduced to a trickle. And then I knew, this is not a good situation to be in. It's a very disturbing situation. And that is when I knew that I have to do something. I have to change the course of my life and do something different, and which would probably take me to my life's purpose. And that is when I started doing a lot of things like painting, baking, gardening, even learning to play the guitar. But out of these, I got hooked on to baking and painting. I really enjoy doing both of them. I paint in watercolors and I do a lot of baking at home for my family. So I still practice all these things despite the fact that I've gone back to my active life now, work life. Uh, uh, but I continue to do this so that I can learn new techniques and keep upgrading my skills in these, I would say, art forms. Gardening, though I love doing it, but I could not do much about it because somehow, I could not just get into the groove. But I plan to go back and I plan to learn how to make a connect with the plant kingdom. And I'm sure there would be a lot of you over here who would be able to help me with that. So just lately, I have learned the art of storytelling, something which I always wanted to learn from my childhood. And I also feel that it is a very relevant skill in today's world. Primarily because everyone seems to be addicted to social media and are aimlessly surfing the net. Just scrolling through reels and shorts and whatnot without, getting any meaning out of the content that they are consuming. Everyone seems to be doing the same thing. If they're making shorts or reels, they're all making it in a similar manner. There is just no creativity at all. All are, clones of the other. So much lack of imagination. And I was recently reading a book on by Ruskin Bond, and it's called The Golden Years. And in that book, he says, and I can't help but agree with him, that intelligent people are turning to literature and reading for newness of thought and ideas. Because when they get new thoughts and ideas, it gives them personal inspiration, and they are able to generate or get more creative with their output, with their content, with their hobbies, with their whatever they enjoy doing. So whatever it may be, I feel that storytelling can be effectively used to enhance the imagination, used to improve listening skills. Yeah, because when you're scrolling through a lot of social media, you're just not listening to anything. Your attention span, your focus is so low that it makes no sense of whatever you're getting, and you are unable to utilize that content or knowledge that you're gaining, if you're gaining any knowledge. So storytelling will enhance your imagination skills, your listening skills, and it will improve your communication of ideas and thoughts, because you will look for words. You will struggle to find the right words, the right tone to convey your idea. And it also involves people very actively and positively. So, this is something which I would like to share with you today. And I wanted to start with a topic which is known to everybody and uh, close to everybody's heart. And that is the rains, the monsoons. We are right now in the monsoon season. And so I thought it would be a good topic to come up with, because monsoon has such an importance in our country. The rains touch our lives in all manners, be it social, be it cultural, be it political, agricultural, though, of course, because our whole country is dependent on agriculture, and hence commercial also. Our elections are won if there is a good monsoon, and they're lost if it is a bad monsoon, though it has got no connection with it, but yet there is a connection. So, and even historical, there is so much connected to the monsoons. The impact is huge. Monsoons have a huge impact on our life, which we actually don't realize, but the impact is there. And just before the rains, we look forward to the rains, and we all of us, we recognize those telltale signs of pre-monsoon. The season. We know that the rains are coming soon. And what are those signs? First of all, the juicy and flavorful mangoes. All of us love to, dig our teeth into the juice and, eat up all the mangoes that we can. In fact, I love mangoes. All kinds of mangoes I must have during the mango season. They're so short-lived, only for just about 2 months, and then the entire year you get a of mangoes. Anyway, and those hot and humid, oppressively hot and humid days, when nothing moves, there's no wisp of air, everything is so completely still. Yeah, and then the croaking of the frog. So, how does it go? Yeah, so we can hear that and we know the rains are coming. And sometimes we see tiny flashes of the fireflies. So everything which the rain brings, we can recognize that and we know that the rains are coming. So in fact, in some place in India, there is an ancient ritual of marrying frogs in a bid to appease the rain gods for a good monsoon. I don't know which this place is, but it's an ancient ritual, and they do it every year. It's a huge ritual. The way our marriages are done, the bridegroom takes a procession to the bride's home. It's done like that only. Perhaps some of you would be able to share this with me later in the session. So you see, monsoons have a very important part in our lives. And I wonder if there was a time when there was no rain. Perhaps there was a time when there was no rain. What did it feel like then? There must have been some difference. And what brought about those rains? The monsoon season. So let me tell you a story on this. And there is a very beautiful and magical story about how the monsoon started. And I'm sure you would like to listen to it. So let's start. Yeah. So, long time ago, some 10,000 years ago, perhaps, in the beautiful kingdom of Bharat, ruled a mighty king named Arya. Her name was
Amrita ji, can you speak louder? A bit louder.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
increase your volume a bit, ma'am.
Yeah.
The story is interesting, but we're not able to hear.
Right. Let me just do something about. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
If ma'am, if there's some problem with this, we can remove this for a while. For this.
No, then you will not be able to hear. I.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
That will become a problem.
Okay,
So,
ma'am.
I'm trying to up the volume. Just a minute. Give me a minute, please, and we will go back. Sorry for this, everyone. Yeah, I've now fixed something, and I hope it will be clear. So, okay, let's go back to the story. So, many years ago, maybe 10,000 years ago, uh, in the beautiful land of Bharat, there ruled a very mighty king named Arya. And he had a very beautiful daughter. Her name was Varsha. Yeah. So Varsha was loved by not only her parents, she was loved by everyone in the land. Wherever she went, she brought prosperity. The lands flourished, flowers bloomed, the bees buzzed, and the birds chirped. Yeah, everything, in fact, the whole air and the ambience became cool, calm, fresh. The sky was lit up with the colors of light, all the rainbow. So you see,
Excuse me, ma'am. A bit louder. A bit more louder, please.
So you see, this was the effect that Varsha had on everyone around her. And Varsha, she loved to spend time with the nature, playing with the trees, dancing among the stars and flowers. And she would often talk to the trees. Ma, you look so sad. What is the matter? Can I give you a hug? Will that make you feel better? And you, since I last saw you, you have grown so tall and handsome. And to the flowers, she would say, my, how lovely you look. And where do you get these beautiful colors from? I'm sure you steal them from the rainbow. And so she spent her entire day nurturing all of nature with love and care. Then one day, a warrior from far off south happened to wander into the forest. He was obviously, lost from his and separated from his army or his people, and he was tired. He wanted to rest, and he saw the dense, beautiful forest, and he thought, ah, this is a nice place to rest a while. Let me just relax here. Such beautiful flowers, so fragrant, and what a cool stream of pure sparkling water. Let me quench my thirst. And as he bent to drink some water, he saw Varsha hiding in the flowers, watching him, and he was mesmerized by it. Who is this? What an exquisite beauty. And so he approached Varsha carefully, not to startle her, not to scare her, and he introduced himself. Oh, lady, I am Varun, and I come from the southern kingdom of Megha. I've lost my way, and I was resting here when I saw you. Pray tell me, who are you? Varsha looked at him shyly, for she was also Cupid struck by the handsome warrior. And through her eyelashes, she smiled and said to him, I am Princess Varsha, and you have come to the land of Bharat. Welcome. And that got them chatting. Like all young people who meet and fall in love. So they chatted and chatted till they forgot all time. But as all things come to an end, so did their time together. But each promised the other to meet the next day at the same place. They promised that they would meet again the next day and the next day, and so on and so forth. They kept on meeting and their love bloomed. Meanwhile, Princess Varsha's father, King Amrita, he was looking for a suitable match for his daughter, like all fathers, dutiful, responsible fathers would. He was looking for a suitable match for his daughter, Varsha. And he had finally decided that King Giri of the mountain kingdom in the north would be a good match for him. And so he announced the marriage. As the marriage was announced, the whole kingdom rejoiced. And they loved Varsha so dearly that they were very happy that their beloved princess was going to get married to the valiant King Giri. Except for Varsha. She was very sad because she loved Varun. And for a long time she contemplated on what to do. And then finally she mustered all her courage and approached her father and said, Father, I respect you, but I cannot marry King Giri. I love Varun. Please, Father, permit me to marry him. Aryavrata, when he heard this, was very upset and he was furious also. But he loved his daughter very dearly and tried to reason with her, tried to make her understand that this is not perhaps good for her. So he said, Varun is just a warrior. He is not a prince. I cannot allow that. Only a king is suited to be your husband. But Varsha pleaded and implored. She was extremely distraught. It pained Aryabhat to see his daughter in such a state. So finally he relented and he said, I have one condition, and that too for the sake of your happiness. I propose a contest between Varun and King Giri. Whosoever wins will be your match. Promise me that you will not rebel further and you will marry the winner. So Princess Varsha thought a while and she thought, that at least this is giving me some chance. Varun may win, I may marry him, and that's my heart's desire. So she agreed. And when she agreed, King Aryavrat summoned both Varun and King Giri. And he said, Go, fetch the priceless gifts for my daughter. Whosoever returns first will marry my daughter. And off they went at great speed, fast and furious, trying to beat the other. Varun went south and he collected the most beautiful, rare pearls and mother of pearl shells, really lovely ones. And King Giri went north looking for the most priceless diamonds and emeralds. And once they had collected their gifts, both of them rode back really fast to beat the other, of course, and they wanted to win the hand of Princess Varsha in marriage. But who do you think reached first? Alas, King Giri beat Varun with just 5 minutes. So Varsha was very upset. But because she had given word to her father, she agreed to marry. Tearfully, she agreed to marry King Giri. Now, Varun loved his princess very dearly and truly. And he knew that it is important for her to keep her promise to her father. And so he let her keep that promise and allowed her to marry King Giri. Varsha was very, relieved and wanted to meet him the last time. And so she went to him. And she said, Dear one, I have loved you truly and dearly. And I will always be grateful for the beautiful time that we've spent together in this beautiful forest. And as a tribute to that time, I promise to visit you once every year in this land. And so Princess Varsha and Varun the warrior meet every year to relive the treasured moments, spread happiness and love. It is a time when the world rejoices and the nature rejuvenates. It is the time when Varun blows in Varsha from the land of Megha. It is the time of monsoons in the land of Aryabhat. Thank you. So that's a small story on how perhaps the monsoons may have come about. And I would be happy to take any questions on storytelling. Any questions that you think I would be able to answer, please, you're welcome to ask me.
Ma'am, first of all, interesting session on storytelling, like how you came, your journey was itself an interesting story, and secondly, the story about Varsha, about Varun, about the princess, and it was quite an interest because it reminded of us, although the story was quite deep, it reminded us of our childhood because we have grown up, especially in India, listening to these kind of stories from our grandparents mostly. So it does make an interesting memory also. Ma'am, I would like to ask one thing. I mean, how do you use storytelling in corporate sector? Like,
Okay. See, if you see, Ria, today I told you two stories. One was
yes,
my own story, yeah.
yes,
Journey of the last maybe 4-5 years, story I made out of that, and one was a story which I used. Now, the basic principle of storytelling is that it has to be based on a fact. So we all know that monsoons is a fact. We all know that it comes from the south. Yeah. And we all know that it strikes the mountains and then it rains. We all know that. These are facts. And you have to just weave a story around, imagine and weave a story around that. Now, in the corporate sector, there are a lot of challenges, which are facts. All of us have challenges, right? Like sales are low, manpower is short, resources are short, or any other way. We have to, ramp up something. So, taking those facts, if you break down the solution in a story form, you probably get better results than you would by just sitting in meetings and hammering facts and figures there. So mostly storytelling is used in the corporate world for training purposes, for triggering of ideas, for communicating your thoughts. Where would you want to go strategically? Where do you want to take your company? That is how storytelling is used in the corporate world.
Okay. So anyone who would like to ask any questions to ma'am pertaining to storytelling? Or you would like to narrate your own story also?
Yeah, I would welcome that.
Ma'am can give some suggestions also. So we can also become.
No, I'm a learner. I'm just a learner. But yes, I would love to hear everybody's stories. You know, they're also original. And we have stopped listening to each other.
Yes.
And it is time that we got back into that zone of listening and to each other and learning from each other.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Amrita. I think in this group we have quite a few storytellers. Ria herself tells story, and then Samina ji also tells story. So
Samina ji is here actually.
yeah. Would like to share, or Ria, you can share with your story. And then very experienced people like Pritam ji will have Neelam ji, Usha ji from their life stories. Meena ji.
Yeah. Yes. See, one thing about the stories is that it has to be light, as you just pointed out, and it has to trigger the imagination. You know, so when the storyteller is saying something, it should a picture should form in your mind. There should be some kind of an visualization. I don't know whether that was an effect which I could create or not, but that is my endeavor. So lighter the story, the easier the message, and it goes deep then. So if you say, there are a lot of messages in the story of the monsoon also. Like we must love the nature, we must nurture it. It is a gift, and we must keep our words also. What we say, we cannot back out of that. We should try to keep our word as much as possible. So on and so forth. Each one has a different take on what they take from the story or a session. I can't hear you, Ria.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't realize I was muted. So, Rajbin, would you like to ask something? Okay.
I think she hasn't heard.
And ma'am, so secondly, I would like to ask you how it impacts emotion, like how it can be the therapy, like because a lot of therapists, India, the system hasn't been developed as yet. Foreign countries, people use it for adults as a
Yes.
therapy also. So how can we use
Yes.
it as a therapy? Because people, since
So
and
I wouldn't be able to throw much light on it, but to my because when I was doing storytelling, most of my batch had clinical psychologists,
wow.
and they said that they would like to use this for the patients. I don't know what way they would have used it, but personally, when I think of a story, I occupy my mind in a positive and a productive manner. So when I'm thinking of a story, I have to make it light. I have to make bring in a few characters so that I can enact through my voice. Uh, it's not a so it's a lot of work, and my mind is occupied with a lot of positive thoughts at that time. So once I get for a story like this story, it took me quite a while to come to to find a story which was easy and had some message. And once I got that breakthrough, it's a great feeling that you cracked it and it's original. In the sense that it's your own mix and match or whatever, your own creativity. And the second thing, when you speak it out in front of an audience, and or like on a webinar, like live audience or a virtual audience, it's a very liberating feeling. Suddenly you feel so light about sharing happiness with others. So that's my personal take from it. That's my personal experience with it, and that's how I use it. I really like to tell stories to my friends and all, to the kids in the society, even to my team at my workplace. And it's so easy to be able to make them understand what you're trying to get. Sometimes words gets very harsh, so you may use a word and some sentence in such a manner that the other person may feel offended about it, but in a story form, a very harsh message can be given very softly.
And how do you use your stories? Do you publish it or do you tell me?
No, I don't use my stories to publish. In fact, I've just learned it. I am still a learner, I would say. I am just practicing this. No, I don't publish it or anything. But I like to, if somebody wants to hear a story, I'm there, I can tell.
And we're just curious. So, how many stories would you have done, like in this short span?
Excuse me, ma'am, we can't see you.
Uday is asking me something. I am unable to
Yes.
that.
Tell me something about stories which we see in movies. That's what Mr. Uday is asking.
Yeah. So stories which we see in movies, I don't know. I think we are seeing very trashy movies now. I personally, I have been in the movie sector for such a long time. I was working with Inox movie theaters, and I was heading the HR for the northern region.
Wow.
And I obviously, because I've worked there for such a long time, I love movies. I love that feel of the the theater, those lights and those neon lights, the smell of the popcorn and the coffee. I just love all that. That the package that comes with the movie, the darkness of the hall. But somehow I feel movies are not telling good stories. I think we need to really work hard on what we are going to be showing the audience now. I feel that during the pandemic, when everybody had nothing to do except binge watch on Netflix, on the OTT platform, and the OTT platform had nothing, no content, no movies being made. So what they did was they gathered all the content from all over the world and put it on their streamed it on their platforms. So the audience was exposed to a lot of intelligent content, a lot of good content. And so when the pandemic, the lockdowns finished, and the old movies which were in the making of with substandard or little less standard content didn't do well, because in those 3-4 years, the audience, the intelligence, the what they wanted to see, that had grown many folds. What the audience wanted, they had become very sophisticated in their choices of what they want to watch. So that's why all the movies which released just after the pandemic flopped. None of them did well because they were not up to the mark. That's what I feel.
If I may say, so I can give an example. There was a movie called Tare Zameen Par. People before that did not believe in inclusive education, even if like intellectuals talked about it, because no one was aware and people were like, there was like out of the box concept and all that. But the moment Tare Zameen Par, people started believing it, like it brought 5% change, but it could bring 5% change because of the storytelling. Even Three Idiots.
Yes.
Now people let their children follow their passion. I mean, not all of them, but even 10% of the population, because of the storytelling. And like 83 movie recently, which came, like obviously it came post pandemic, but it was quite nice. Like they didn't show any romantic angles. They saw what was in the movie. So most of us, like I am 93 born, so even I could visualize what happened in 83 only because of the movie. So maybe these kind of things, it can be a good psychology also. Suppose if you're being pulled down, if you're suffering from low self-esteem, 83 teaches you can do anything if you wish you can, because it's only inside us that has a superpower. There's no superpower, there's no superhero.
Yes. Absolutely. And that is what I felt, when I suddenly had nothing to do. I mean, it's a very scary feeling that one moment you are constantly on con calls and next moment nothing after the layoff, and it is so sudden and abrupt. Just a minute before you are on a con call, and then you are told that there's a layoff because the cinemas are not working. We can't keep you. And the next moment, everything stops. Your email is blocked, so that you don't. It's disconnected. Nothing happens. It's a horrible feeling to be in, and that is when I realized that the strength has to come from within. So there is something I must do differently now. I've done this 30 years. What is it that I want to do now? And that's what got me into storytelling. I had to do a lot of search where to learn storytelling from, because storytelling also has some technique. So I was blessed to have landed with a guru who could teach me, a mentor who could teach me something about it. I hope I have done her proud today.
You can show them the video and they can always review you.
I will definitely.
And you could invite them.
In fact, all my batchmates are watching, I think.
Awesome.
They're all online.
Your story is very inspiring.
Pardon me? I didn't get you.
Your story is very inspiring.
Well done, Amrita.
I think there was Rajwin, can you unmute again? There was some background noise.
Yeah, there was some music, some drums rolling.
Well done, Amrita. Well done, Amrita. I'm so proud of you. Storytelling is used for persuasion. I use this in my daily life, daily training, and I know what is it like to feel when I have nothing. Suddenly, my mind is so occupied. Tomorrow,
Yes.
tomorrow my caregiver is going off, so I'm gonna be a little bit light at work. So she's going off for 1 week. So I have a story to tell. Every day is a story to tell.
Rajvin, maybe we could write also.
Yes. Every day is a story to tell.
But it
Yes.
depends how you look at it. Like for me, I have sinus congestion. I do a lot of laughter yoga.
Yes.
I had a panic attack 2 days ago. I have to be on. Although I do laughter yoga, I have to heal. I have to be on antidepressants to heal myself because the thoughts keep coming. So that there's a story to tell every day. Storytelling can be used as persuasion, can be used as
Rajvin, you could write. If
Yeah,
Fine.
Raj,
Let her.
I really appreciate that, you use storytelling for a very positive and productive day. And you find stories in the day, which we all have forgotten. Uh, so, this session was trying to get you back to your childhood when every day was a story. Everything was a story. And we were imagination around that. We went out to play with kids, with our friends. We would come back with so many stories to tell our grandparents and our mother, especially mother. And I remember that every night my mother would tell me my sister and me a story at night about एक राजा था या एक राक्षस था, उसका एक तोता था, उस तोते के अंदर उसकी जान थी, like that, so it used to trigger off our imagination. And there was no TV at that time, so it was only books or listening to stories. And that most of my learning I've done by my own imagination. It was much later that for example, if he said, he was wearing breeches while riding. Now I didn't know what breeches looked like. So I imagined that the breeches must look like this only. It was much later that I, searched the net or saw a picture of what riding breeches look like. And then I kind of either corrected my imagination or felt exhilaration that yes, on the description I could make a picture or a visualization which was appropriate as per the description. So we must all look for stories in our daily life. And in fact, the other day my sister presented me with a gratitude book, just a book where you write whatever you feel like, whatever you are grateful about in the day. In fact, it'd be nice to start recording your daily stories also. It's a great idea, Rajvin. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Storytelling can be used as persuasion to say how you feel.
Yes, communication of ideas and thoughts. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So Rajvin actually made a very valid and fantastic point, and I think we should all follow it. And the way she conveyed her thought was excellent.
Yes.
And it was very articulative and clear. And ma'am, I think we had a very nice session with you. And we learned so many things. We actually, I'm sure most of us will daily record our journal and daily record our stories. And when we grow old and when we have white hairs, then we'll narrate it to our grandchildren or children are all around because I think what you do during young days make interesting story. That's why they said all have all the fun during young days so that you have some
Yes,
storytelling during your old age.
yes. I learned so much from all of you. You know, your questions, you helped me think more about how I can improve my
And we
storytelling
would definitely like to
skills.
meet your mentors and like clinical psychologists who come with you, because I would definitely like we are definitely want to know how emotions and how storytelling is helpful in counseling and psychology also. So
Yes.
definitely.
We'll connect offline and I will guide you to a few people then.
Not just me, the entire team would like to meet.
Yes, I'll introduce them to Marvin, and I'm sure we can all benefit out of that.
Oh, sure, man. Thanks a lot.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed being here. I'm grateful that you gave me this chance to showcase a little bit of my skill. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Ria. Thank you.
Uday sir has thanked you.
Thank you so much.
Amrita, can you please, oh sorry, Ria, can you please